just quickly kind of move into it. So congratulations on being a Rocky Mountain freestyle skier. It's one of the coolest sports you guys can ever imagine. We're happy to have you here. The reason behind this presentation is we want parents, athletes, the coaches already know this stuff, obviously, but we want to make sure everybody's involved and know what's going on, what the judges are doing, and where they're scoring. Start sharing. All right, so welcome behind the scorecard. Next one. Perfect. So the funny thing is it said get inside the mind of a judge. This was not my tagline. And this is kind of what we think about. Just kidding. We think about skiing all the time. So just so you guys know, every year, every judge within the world says the judge's oath. We, the judges, promise to judge all competitions with complete impartiality, respecting and abiding by the rules and regulations. We promise to officiate at all competitions, giving no favor based on nation, gender, competitors' ranking, or previous performances in this or any other competition. We will judge each run solely on the merit of the observed performance without preconceptions or expectations. Within Rocky Freestyle, we're very blessed to have all of our judges on site. Unfortunately, sometimes in NORAM and World Cup, we do have to do some remote judging, regardless of whether we are at home behind a computer screen or right up next to you and the coaches. We stand by this oath, period. So give me 1 second. Oh, hold on. Okay, pause. Can you send it back to me, please? So, yes, and back at us right here. So what I'd like to tell you guys a little bit, we're going to do some housekeeping really quick. David Dreitline, our Rocky Chair, is going to be our moderator tonight. If there's any links or anything like that, we will happily send them to you. Also, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to put them in the chat. We'll see if we have a chance to get to them. For anyone who actually knows me, you know that I can talk and talk and talk. So, hopefully we'll make through this in 2 hours. But really quick, we are interactive here in Rocky. So you guys do me a favor, put it into the chat. What's your team? Where are you watching from? We want to see everybody. So let's start it up. Let's flood the chat. See where you guys are from and what's going on tonight. Anybody? What's up, Team Aspen? What's up, Telluride? I'm actually here in beautiful Winter Park at the Gravity House. Okay, so we're here in beautiful Winter Park at the Gravity House. Super excited. We have selections here, which is our second event of the season. And yeah, so we will be here in Winter Park seeing you guys there. Give me 1 second. Team Summit. Oh, Chris Carson just off the hill at Basin. Winter Park, Team Summit. Stratton, hello, welcome Stratton, you guys. Good to see you. Super Ross coming in from Perisher, Australia. We love you guys. Okay, so let's get into it just a little bit. I see that we have lots of you guys. So really quick, like I said, get into the minds of the judges. Nobody wants to do that. We absolutely love what we do. And so we're extremely blessed here in Rocky Freestyle. We currently on staff have one former Olympic judge. We have multiple World Cup judges. We also have NORAM judges, Europa Cup judges, regional judges, and our Devo and our QS judges. So you guys absolutely have some of the best people in the entire world looking out for you and watching your athletes. Just a quick introduction to me. My name is Polina Carpenter, if you don't know me. I was a Rocky Freestyle athlete. I was a Rocky Freestyle coach. I was the development director here at the Winter Park Competition Center, and I have been happily judging for years and years. So you guys definitely know that you have everyone on point. What else? We have the most amazing coaches, honest to goodness, not only in the nation, but on the planet. We have coaches who have been Olympians. We have coaches who've been World Cup. And if you guys are old school, but pro mogul tour, we have those guys. So you guys literally have some of the best and most amazing coaches here on the planet. We're so blessed to be in Colorado. But what really makes us special is our athletes. Currently, right now, 50% of the US mogul team, we are Rocky Freestyle. Thank you. We're a little bit down from last year. Last year, we had over 70%. We had a couple of our athletes retire. But basically, we've been 50% or more of the US team for the last couple decades. So go Colorado, way to represent. We're very proud. We have produced through Rocky multiple Olympians, multiple world champions, World Cup, nationals, junior nationals, and obviously regional champions. So we are very dedicated to what we're doing. But really quick, what we're going to do is we're going to hop on and talk about some of our alumni who have been here before. So cue the video, please.
Hi, my name is Tess Johnson, and I'm a member of the U.S. Freestyle Moguls team and a 2018 Olympian. And I just wanted to take the time today to talk about how much Rocky Mountain Freestyle means to me and the role it's played in my life as a person and as an athlete. And I genuinely would not be where I am today without Rocky. I started competing in Devo at age 9, which is when I saw Hannah Carney win gold and immediately set my sights on doing the same thing and representing my country one day like she did. But I moved up to Rocky events at age 12, and between the volunteers, the parents, the coaches, my teammates, my competitors who became dear friends of mine, the judges, every single person a part of Rocky Mountain Freestyle makes that organization what it is and makes athletes like my dreams come true. And I am so grateful to everyone involved, all the hard work that goes into what an amazing organization it is today. I'm so honored to say that I come from Rocky Mountain Freestyle, and I would recommend it to any skier wanting to compete. I'm truly so grateful, so thank you. Hi.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for coming to this seminar Helena's putting on. My name is Casey Andringa. I'm a longtime Rocky athlete. I was a U.S. ski team alumni and 2018 Olympian. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to Rocky Mountain. They absolutely raised me from the ground up. Rocky Mountain's special just because you're surrounded by so many great people, from coaches to the athletes to the parents, you know. And I think that's really what it's all about. You know, I had coaches from when I was 8 years old up until I was 22 and I made the U.S. team that taught me not just the fundamentals, but how to compete, and really were there and cared for me along my entire journey. And then also, you know, Rocky Mountain's such a competitive division, and I think that really is what it takes to, you know, become the best version of yourself in anything in life, is to surround yourself with people that are better than you. So, you know, some of the friends I made when I was 10 years old were the friends that I was in the dual starting gate up against at the World Championships in Deer Valley, you know. So it's friendships that last a lifetime, but also were the friendships that drove me to get to where I was able to go through skiing. And it was all thanks to Rocky. So miss it out there. Hopefully I can get out and see an event or come hang out at some point this season. But all right, thanks a bunch, guys.
All right. Thank you, Tess Johnson and Casey Andringa. We have a couple more of those guys coming up, a little bit of athlete testimonials. Really excited. I just saw on chat. What's up, Vale? Congratulations. You guys are having a pizza party watching it. We have a couple of your skiers coming up for some video. Super excited to see you guys. But let's talk about the parents. Most important ones. So I have been a parent, not only an athlete and a coach, but I have been a parent of a skier. A little bit stressful. And when you guys don't know what's going on, it seems a little bit more intense than it should be. So first and foremost, I'm going to tell you parents, we're going to give you lots of information tonight, but that's not going to make you an expert. Your role with your children is you need to be a cheerleader. You need to love them. You need to take care of them. We already know that you guys have dedication to the sport, driving them up, figuring out meets, taking care of lodging, everything like that. The joy of it is your coaches are absolutely amazing and they know what they're doing. So we really hope that when you guys have any issues or any questions about this stuff, please go to your coaches. They're absolutely amazing. And something else, spoiler alert, I'm not going to give you guys the secret sauce to winning tonight. Honest to goodness, I'm relaying information that you can find in the USSS handbook or in the FIS handbook on how we score and how we judge. This is also information that is available to your coaches. So I wish I had miracle pixie dust that made you guys all Olympians, but it's hard work, dedication, love of sport, great attitude, especially, and just really taking care of it. So I never said like nobody has their cameras turned on, and if you know me, I'm a very interactive person. So let's throw some cameras on you guys.
Helena, just break in
Yeah.
quick for a technical thing, just so you're aware, as long as you're screen sharing, it doesn't put you as the primary person. So
Thank you.
if you want your camera
Okay.
primarily, just stop screen sharing for a moment.
Thank you, Dave. Give me 1 second. Sorry, technical difficulties. Oh, I got a couple faces on here. All right. Good. Sorry, technical difficulties. We're working on it. All right, look it up. What's up, Brad and Team Vale? Team Vale, give me a shout out. Everybody, hands in the air. Very cool. Good to see you guys. Did you figure out how I'm primary?
Yeah, no, you are just.
Okay, super. Awesome, you guys. All right, so let's have everybody stand up because we are all active people. We're going to do a little exercise right about now. So stand up. I want everybody to be active. Obviously, physiology and emotion is what gets you to remember things. Like, you guys remember sitting in school? You're all bored sitting at your desk. Are you learning anything? Not really. In one ear, out the other. When you stand up, give me a little emphasis. We're all going to be there. So now that you guys are standing up, I want you to look around the room. I want you to find everything that's red. Thank you, Vale. I want you guys to look around the room, find everything that's red. I want you to count everything that's red in the room. Red, fire extinguishers, your buddy's shirt, everything. Try and get as many red things in the room. Count them out. I'm going to give you guys 15 seconds. Start counting stuff around the room that's red. Look around, look around. You're probably overachievers. You guys are looking for maroon. You guys are looking for light pink. Everything that you can. Come on, another couple seconds, you guys. Red, 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 red. All right, stop. Everybody close your eyes. Close your eyes. How many red things did you see in the room? Okay, with your eyes closed, how many things in the room were green? Oh, you weren't paying attention to the green stuff because you were asking, I was asking about red. How much around the room is green? So this is basically what we're talking about today. If you don't know what you're looking for and you're looking in the wrong direction, you're not going to figure it out. So we call this our reticular activating system. Back of your brain, we're going to get a little cerebral here. But what you pay attention to is what your brain picks up on. Your brain has a tendency to generalize, delete, and distort. But if you're focused on what's green in the room, because that's the direction you're going, instead of what's red, you're going to be going in the right direction. Honestly, it's just like life. You guys get what you look for, right? All right, so on that note, we will hop into mobile turns. I'm going to do something really quick. Hopefully you guys can see my whiteboard, but here's your mobile course. Yep, my markers aren't great. Here's your mobile course. You guys notice that there are 10 panels. There you go, 10 panels going down the mobile course. So this is your opportunity. As a judge, you start with, we can give you up to 20 points on your base score. So if you notice everything's broken into 10 panels, you will realize that it's 2 points per panel. All right, my favorite coaching soapbox. When you straight line the bottom, you didn't ski 2 panels, you automatically lost 2 points. If your base score was a 16 and you don't ski through the bottom here, yeah, we're going to rip away 2 to 3 points on that one. So you just went from a base score of 13 or 16 to 13. Kind of a big deal. Why do your coaches always say, turn through the finish line? You guys got it, right? So you're losing huge points coming in on that. So that's if you take nothing else away from this today, don't straight line the bottom. Okay, that's all we're asking. Turn all the way through the finish so you can get the maximum amount of points that you guys are looking for. I'm going to queue up a couple slides really quick here. We'll start screen sharing. All right, so we're going to talk about turns and mobiles. So this year, being the most important thing in the world, it is actually our turns, our carving. Carving is absolutely essential. It's just moved from 40% of your turn score to 50% of your turn score. And we're looking at carving. What are we looking at? All right, so mobiles in general? Yes, judges are looking at number 1, carving. Number 2, your absorption and extension, how your knees are coming up, how they're moving. We're looking at your upper body. We want to see you guys with a strong upper body, standing up tall, good arms, no flailing, no bending over, no bobbleheading. And then, of course, we look at your fall line. So your fall line means stay in your line. Deductions, outside of your line. So this is the way that we use our determination of how the judges are getting your base score right now. So we're looking at the whole body, and judges, like, we might seem a little bit crazy, but we can actually look at you guys standing in the lift line and the way your stance is and how you hold yourself. I can guarantee you, we can probably look at somebody and be like, he's going to bend at the waist. He's not going to have good absorption. We want to see a good stacked body all the time. Your coaches, I'm sure, have gone over this with you all the time. Yep, so your fall line is where, if you deviate off of your fall line, that's where we're going to get some deductions. We can talk about that in a little bit. And then there are turn types. So what we're really looking for, and we're going to go over it in detail, but carving, we want to see you guys pushing your tips down the moguls, angulating your skis, and actually doing some good carving. We do have some terms. There is sliding. A lot of you, and especially when you're younger, this is the way you learn, but you start sliding your skis sideways and meeting the mogul. So those are push turns, and then you graduate a little bit more out of RQS and into comp, and then you start push pivoting where you're actually sliding and then pivoting on top of the bump. We're looking to make sure that we don't see those tips of your skis coming down. What we really like to see is pushing right down through, angulating, and really doing the carving. I'm very, very happy that FIS, which is, in case you guys are new, is Federale International du Ski, which means our International Ski Federation. We have put an emphasis this year on carving. That's really what we want to see the most of. It's the most important. So our mobile ranges, we have actually changed some of our verbiage. We're getting a little nicer. So if your base score is between 16.1 and 20, which I would absolutely love to see a 20 sometime in my lifetime, but you guys are excellent skiers. We're talking about the best of the best, some of our world champions, that type of thing. So your good scores, and we'll kind of go through these differentiations, but 12.1 to 16.0. We have moved the term from average to adequate for the next level, and then we have moved below average to managing. I'm sure as a skier, if you've been on a mobile course and you're having a rough day, you understand the term of managing getting down the hill. We would like to see you guys excel and have everybody do their best up in their excellent category. So, new words. So our mobile turn technique. So yes, we're talking about properly carved skis and how you angulate down through it. Yeah, when you initiate your turn, we definitely look at your timing. We want you to initiate your turn early and really press those tips through there. At the end of the turn, your tails should be following your skis. What we see a lot with the younger kids, and this is just how we learn how to do it, is you see a lot of side to side, sideways ski turning. What we really like to see is just driving those tips down. So I'm sure you guys have probably watched some Olympics, some World Cup. You probably have your favorite skiers, obviously. We as judges don't. But you guys have your favorite skiers as you follow. But really, when you're looking at those videos, look at, you cannot see the bottoms of their skis. You don't see the sides of their boots. They're really moving through it. So absorption is maintaining your balance. That's getting your knees up and down, and it's really working the course. Yeah, we don't want to see a lot of side-to-side rotation. If I'm seeing your back, probably not a good thing. We're not park and pipe, right? We don't want to see anybody switch. Definitely we like legs tight throughout the run. And then breaks and balance, we'll get into what goes on with deduction. We are going to talk a little bit more. FIS has talked a little bit more about pole plants. One at a time. When you double pole plant, that's going to wind up as deduction. We don't want to see you guys pushing. We're not Nordic skiers. We don't want to see you guys pushing down the mountain like that. So we're basically looking for clean, quiet skiers. You guys know it. You've watched your favorite Olympians. When they ski moguls, they make it look almost effortless. That is a beautiful thing for us to see. And guess why? They've been through it. They've done so much training. They've had so much dedication. You know, they really know what's going on, and they listen to their coaches. So moving on. Yeah, shape of turns. We can go through everything, but you guys should know how to turn. but watch how the gradient of the slope affects how you guys are turning and your pace time. And it's just a natural progression that as you learn to carve better and move those skis down the hill, you're naturally going to get faster. As your coaches are going to tell you, speed's not going to win it for you. Quite honestly, we really want to see good skiing. We're not alpine. We want to see good carved turns. So, oh my gosh, everybody take a screenshot of this. I don't want to go through the entire thing, but this is what a good mobile turn looks like. And this is mobile turns with problems. Obviously, we want to see you guys, same thing as I've been saying. Tails following the tips, driving down the hill, quiet upper body, absorption extension, really using those legs. So you guys can go through that. Next one, also checkpoints here's on your upper body. Like I was saying, quiet upper body. I have a couple of the current coaches for Rocky Freestyle used to be my coaches. And I remember talking about like putting a tray in your hands or putting a tray on your head. Your upper body should be so quiet and your arms should be right in front of you. We don't want to see windshield wipers, you know, that type of thing. As far as your upper body, we want to see your upper body here. If every time you take a turn, you're doing the bobbing and weaving thing, we don't really want to see that either, obviously. Like, we want to see your bib number and your belt buckle all the way down the hill. That's your quiet upper body. Okay, so new. Go ahead. So yeah, now we've always had turns at 60% of the score. The new thing is carving went from 40 to 50%. So yet again, we're really focusing on good skiing. Absorption extension and upper body used to be 30% and 30%. Now it's down to 25 and 25. The reason behind that is because if you're carving a good turn, you're obviously going to have a good upper body and good absorption extension. A lot of times, you know, when the carving falls apart, everything else falls apart. When the carving comes together, everything else comes together. So I don't want to mind boggle you guys, but if you really want to see the direction that we're going, this is our general breakdown of how things are doing. So we're looking at your skiing as, is this a low excellence skier, a middle excellence skier, or a high excellence skier? Are you middle good? Are you managing? It's going to come down to it. So this is fairly new. That's literally the breakdown, but it's just to give you guys an idea that, like, you know, I did the monkey brain judge thing before, but literally we are so very ridiculously specific about what you're doing and how you're doing it. So we want to show you guys that we really do have a very specific breakdown. There is something new that's coming through FIS, but it won't affect most of you guys here in Rocky Freestyle. So just to let you know. So double pole plants, this is brand new from FIS this year. They decided that a deduction of 0.4 each double pole plant. And if you do it more than 4 times, we have a maximum deduction of 1.6, but now we're going to throw it into your base score rather than a deduction. If you're skiing like this, yet again, we're not Nordic skiers, so we don't want to see those double pole plants one at a time. All right, so let's talk about a little bit of deductions. So now you've earned your points, you're skiing your best, you're coming down. Oops daisies, always going to happen. So what we're looking at here is line deviations. So from the example, what we see is you're starting out in the center line and you are going skiers right and you wind up in the next lane. Oops, and skiers right again, you wind up in the next lane. So for each lane, it is 1.6 of a deduction. Reminder, you only have 20 points to start with. So now we're moving over. The good news is that if you do have a deviation into another lane and you need to get back into your lane, you have a short amount of time to do it, and we give you no penalties. You can go 2 lanes out, you can go past the gate, come back in, and we're not going to penalize you for coming back. Obviously, we penalize you for going over, but as long as you do it immediately, we're not going to penalize you for going back. However, if you choose to stay in that lane and continue skiing and then decide that you want to go back to your other lane, we will penalize you again for another lane deduction. So that's one of our big deals in deductions. All right, DNF did not finish. We never liked that one, but basically stay within the gates. Pretty easy, right? Not really, not all the time. But as long as you're within the inside of the gates and your skis are there, it will keep you in. If you happen to go outside both of your lanes of skiing and you actually need to cross the plane of the gate and go below it, that is a did not finish. So I know for some of you guys that used to be mobile skiers, we used to be able to like get out of there, pass the gate, hike back up, jump back in. Not happening anymore. As soon as you cross the plane of those gates, you guys are done, did not finish. All right. So some other really quick before we go into training, some other things that you'll see is generally what we see when we're looking at deductions is people that get off of the first or second jump and have a problem with their landing, hard checks, scrubbing. That's normally where most of our deductions happen, but it's not to say that's not where all deductions can happen. So let's take a look at a little video, you guys. All right, so of course we have a female skier, big spread up top. Like I said, we normally have problems and deductions coming out of that top air. So as we're looking at it, and I hope this is coming across fairly well with you guys, but yeah, so we're seeing a little bit of side to side, that pivot slide with her. You're seeing the sides of her boot. There's a heli. And yet again, we have a little bit of deductions coming out. So what we're looking at with that run is, so we had some troubles. What you guys are seeing is we're not pushing the tips all the way down. That is somebody who would probably be running in the good category, but we're going to have deductions after the first and second air, just based on, the incidents. And I would also like to preface this with appreciation for parents. Here in Rocky Freestyle, we actually don't have any video replay. We have between 20 and 30 seconds to evaluate your children, move them on, and keep them going. As we all know, it's really easy to play the Monday quarterback armchair guy, watch the video 15 times and be like, wait, where did that come from? And yet again, as Crispy loves to tell me, we're judges, we're all human. Please remember that we are human, and sometimes we miss things, sometimes we see things, but for the most part, we've been doing this for decades and we're very, very dialed in. If we do happen to miss something, our apologies. It's just like if mom turns off the camcorder when the kid's coming down. You can always petition to your coaches. We're always welcome to talk to coaches, anything like that. But we judge what we see, we do it impartially, and we take care of it. So I think there's a good video. Let's move to our next video. All right. We have another female athlete. There's a 360 coming off. You can tell that was definitely a cleaner exit from that. And I'm hoping that you guys can all see that this is a better skier than our last skier. We're moving a little bit better down the fall line, coming into our bottom jump. And moving through. Oh, there's that not skiing at the bottom. All the judges go, whoa, whoa. You got to turn all the way through, all the way through. But as you guys can clearly see, there's a definite differential between the first skier and the second skier and our females as far as how they were carving, what their upper body looked like. Let's hop on to the next video. All right. Another 360. So we're landing really wide and in a wedge, and we're drifting. So those are all going to be deductions right there after the first air. As you notice, you can watch the skier's head kind of going down and doing some bobbling. So that would be our upper body. And we have a back tuck at the bottom. Still a little bit of drift, that type of thing. So, okay, really quick, you guys have only watched 3 videos. In Rocky Freestyle, when we have a full event, we are actually watching with forerunners approximately 225 of these on the day. Now, you were just given that. Can you give them a base score? Can you give them their deductions? And you have to do it within the next few seconds. Guess what? Your time's up. Next video, your next skier is on course. Judging's not easy. All right, let's move on to our next video. Let's take a little peep here. All right, so I have some of our men coming in hot to the top air. We have a back tug, clean landing. With that, he is actually staying in his line. So we're looking at excellent turns right here, ladies and gentlemen. Coming into the bottom. I guess a little problem on the landing, a little bit wide for another deduction, but that's what we would consider one of our excellent runs. That would be in there. Minimal amount of deductions. Like I said, we're looking behind the top and bottom air. So moving on to our next one. All right, so we had a little bit of a GS turn after that top air. We're looking at deductions. Look at that upper body. I think that's the best thing that this guy's got going on for him right now. We do have a little pivot slide on the turns. And we had, interestingly enough, let's talk about this. We had a pause after the bottom air. So you get a pause, you get a regroup, but unfortunately, you're not skiing for that part of the course. If it takes you a while to get back into your turns and regroup, we are going to take that as a deduction as shooting, meaning you're straight lining and you're not turning when you should be turning. So take that into account, but thankfully you got back into it and actually turned through the finish line, which we appreciate. All right, coming in hot, we've got our next video. All right, back tuck off the top. Not much of a problem, a little side to side. But as you're noticing, this here has a little bit of wider arms. Helena always loves to say, when in doubt, shop your kids' poles. We're freestylers. And a couple little missteps in there, but overall a very good run. My consideration for you parents, I know that we like to buy ski boots a little bit bigger because they're going to grow into them. Nope, bad idea. We want to buy big poles because they're going to grow into them. Really bad idea. When you have long poles, if you guys want to put your hands up right now, just like this, you instantly, when your poles are up at your face, you have a tendency to lean back. When your poles are down, you have the ability to be over your skis more. So if your kid's poles are too long and your coach says, cut the poles, sorry that you just bought them brand new. Honestly, cut the poles. You're gonna get their kids over their center of balance and in their athletic stance, as opposed to wide arms and flailing around, which gets them in the back seat, which, as we know, when you're in the back seat skiing, it always gets you into trouble. All right, we got another one coming in hot. Let's look at some really good skiing. All right, we're 7 up top. So we got a couple little breaks in the feet there that we're looking at, but overall dragging the tips, good upper body, a little bit of wide arms, but we're still looking at some excellent skiing here. Great exit off of this last air, a little bit of a pause, but we're getting closer and closer to what we're really looking for. As you guys can see, most of your judges have probably watched thousands upon thousands of hours of live skiers, and we're such dorks. We go home, we watch video at nighttime, we overanalyze everything. That's the nature of our being. But you know, as you start to watch the skiers, I'm hoping that you guys can see the difference between sliding skis and really driving the tips down. All right, let's get another. Oh, yep, we got another one in here. Coming into the top air hot. Excellent. So wide, we got a little bit of some slide outs and that type of thing. But we are driving our tips down the hill. That's the curving that we're looking for. We have a quiet upper body coming into the second air. And started skiing and turned immediately through the bottom. So as we're moving forward, I hope you guys are starting to pick out the little tiny details, but so. And moving on to the next one.
Hi everyone, Olivia Giacchio here. I'm a mogul skier and US team member. This upcoming winter season will be my 9th, both on World Cup and on the national team, which is pretty crazy to say. I wanted to take a moment to recognize my appreciation for RMD. I moved to the Rocky Mountain Division when I was in high school, and this turned out to be a phenomenal step up in terms of competition. The RMD prepared me really, really well, both for NORAMs, World Cups, and then later on World Championships and Olympics. The fact that many teams travel to Rocky Mountain Division and have done so for a number of years is a huge testament to both the level of competition at the events and the efficiency of how the events run. That's thanks to you, everyone behind the scenes who have made it work, for the hundreds of mogul skiers who have already come through RMD and the hundreds who are yet to come. I still have so many fond memories of my time on the circuit and know that many mogul skiers coming through the ranks can definitely say the same. A large proportion of US team members and my current teammates have also spent time competing in RMD, which shows the division's dominance. For me, RMD symbolizes a place that pushed me to the next level athletically and was a fantastic stepping stone to the next part of my mogul career. Hi everyone.
And then we have one more for you guys, another athlete.
Hey everybody, my name is Landon Wendler. I'm a part of the US Freestyle Moguls team. I grew up in the Rocky Mountain Division skiing at a steamboat, and Rocky has helped me throughout my whole career. I've learned so much through our division, and I'm so grateful that I was a part of it. There were so many opportunities to get better in our division and resources coming from other teams and coaches, like being friendly, helping each other out, and the all-star camp and that pass and everything that helps financially, and also just the commitment of the parents and other athletes and coaches in our division is unparalleled. And I'm so happy that I was able to be a part of it. And I also grew up with so many great mentors through the Rocky division that made their way onto the ski team. And I don't think I'd be where I am today without the support of many skiers out of Winter Park and Vail and Telluride. It was a great division to be a part of, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
All right, thanks to a couple more Rocky freestyle skiers. Yet again, we're half the team this year for moguls. Congratulations to Colorado. We breed winners. We also have the largest program here in Rocky Freestyle across all of the divisions in the US, and the largest program of any country that I've dealt with coming through. So you guys are extremely blessed. All right, let's talk about air. So even though air isn't the main component of it, it can usually be the most daunting, especially for some of our younger skiers. And thankfully, when I was a freestyle skier, we didn't have the chop after it. You would just maybe land on another mogul or try and time it out. So you guys are very blessed in what you do. And this is really how our sport progresses. So let's talk a little bit about air. All right. We'll start with loops. So technically a loop, if you make it all the way around, and other than show, I don't think I've seen a proper mogul loop, but we can see some really amazing ones. It's literally because your body has to stay facing forward and loop all the way around. Much easier for our terrain park friends, but it is still a very popular jump here. So with repeats, what we're talking about, so here at the Rocky Mountain Division, we don't have to worry a lot about repeats other than some of our younger kids doing a spread and then doing a spread again, or some other kind of thing. Or we also have some of our upper level athletes that do a back lay up top and they had some other intention down bottom and something went wrong and they do it again. So we only count, if you do a repeat, we only count the first jump. It used to be the best jump, but now it's just the first jump. Off axis, we will allow the same jump if there's a different secondary access by 360 or a grab. Any trick that you're going to put into your entourage, if you do something up top and you have a grab to the bottom, that's not considered the same trick. So you can do back with position up top and you can do a back position with a grab at the bottom. That's not considered the same trick. As far as rotations, if you do a 360 up top and you do a 360 going dark side on the bottom, that's considered the same jump. Sorry, not my rules, but that's the way it is. It literally is the same jump, even though it has a different directional rotation. So you need to go more around or add a grab to it. Also with mole airs, yep, what I just said, repetition, only your first jump counts. It's not your best of two. Grabs can differentiate in the same category. So that's always something good and to throw into your entourage. If you're back flipping, throw that grab in there. And then in Rocky, you can do a back lay and a back grab, or a 7-0P and a 7-0G. This also spans between fists. If you add a grab, it's definitely considered a different trick. Priorities for judging form. First and foremost, we want quality. Obviously, everybody wants it and everything in their lives, but what we're really looking for is the position, the quality, and the execution of the trick. Especially, athleticism, we want to see displayed. Landing, continuity of motion. The second thing that we're looking at is your amplitude and your distance coming out of there. We've all seen it, and I love these kids. They can do a 360, and it's so small off the air, you can swipe a credit card underneath it. So they still did the trick. We'll give them props for the trick, especially if they executed it well. It's just not going to score very high as far as height and distance And then obviously fluidity. We want you coming into the air. We don't want them slinging on the brakes and throwing a big wedge into it, and then coming out of the air and slinging on the brakes and throwing another wedge into it and coming out. We just want to see everything seamless. You know, like I said ahead of time, the easiest thing for us is to see something that looks so fluid and so effortless and so beautiful. And that's what we're looking for. If anything coming into your air or in your mogul skiing starts looking choppy, that's when we're going to start in with the deductions again. So reminder, this one is new. Yeah, we are checking. Okay, so we've had a lot of questions over the years with parents as far as grabs and coaches and athletes and myself. So basically, we are sitting down at the bottom of the venue. We are looking at the middle of the course and we are looking up at you. If you can get a grab, present it well. We especially love some of the ones that are tweaked out. But you need to present your grab to the judges. If we cannot see that you got a grab, or maybe you touched it, or all together, whoop, swing and a miss, that's definitely going to affect your scoring on it. So if your athlete or yourself, you're coming down and you have this sweet grab, but it's completely behind your back, and we can't see it as judges, we're not going to be able to score it. We are, yet again, at the divisional level. We don't have replays. We don't have repeats. We don't have side cameras that are cool like World Cup. So literally, you need to present your grab to us. And if it's not presented well to us, then obviously we can only score what we see, honestly. And it also needs to be held long enough that we can see it. And man, some of these guys coming out in Rocky Freestyle, you have some amazing tweaked grabs, and it's great. And we get really excited when you guys do them well. And we're happy to score you super high for doing a great job. But don't think that in our whole judging thing that we're looking to pick out mistakes. Like, we want to see something excellent. And one of our judges, Jason, he's notorious for giving out 10s on air scores in Rocky Freestyle. You do it well, you will be rewarded. We promise you. Next on errors and positions. So something new as of last year. A P, go ahead with positions. So for those of you guys that are doing cork 7s or cork 10s, there used to be something that was in our stenos was a 7-0, which just meant you did a cork 7 with no position. In FIS, we all decided that the correct way to do these jumps actually has to have your position in there. So when we're looking for a cross position, we're actually looking for the 90-degree angles in the skis. If you're coming up short, or if you have no position, someone who maybe 2 years ago could have done a 7-0 without a position. Unfortunately, not going to fly these days. We're saying you definitely need to have that 90-degree angle flush position with it. And it will affect the performance of the overall jump, obviously. And like I said, it's just popping up now, but we really want to see when you have that cross in there, let's go ahead and get that 90 degrees in there. And the longer you can hold it and the better you can present it to the judges, the better you're going to score. We have some amazing males and females who are doing great jumps from Rocky Mountain Freestyle. And yet again, listen to your coaches, watch your video, but look really how it gets presented at the bottom of the course, because we do want to give you high scores. We want you guys to do your best. All right. Excellent scores for the back. They must be purposeful. Thank you. Sorry, no reading glasses here. Yes, purposeful, clearly displayed to the judges. Same thing that we've been saying. I mean, honest to goodness, your coaches have the video down at the bottom. If they're doing the video from basically the middle of the judge's scoring intent, you should be very clear in your positions. You should be very clear in your errors. And we want things tight and distinctive, like no loosey-goosies. Don't just sling yourself in the air. It's not going to score well. It's going to scare your mom, by the way, and probably your coach. So let's keep everything good. And in Rocky, we have the most amazing training techniques, from going to trampoline to water ramp to on snow. You guys can really get it dialed in, and I highly recommend you guys watching video from the judge's perspective to really see what we're seeing, in case you get a little grumpy about how our score went. Well, maybe your camera is from the side or you were somewhere else. You need to see what we see. 10OP, we talked about this, 7OP, 10OP, and I can't wait to see you guys on Win 14s. But yes, your position should be clearly defined. And if you're looking at it, no position in a score of 1 to 10, you can't get greater than a 6 if your position is unfortunately well-defined, not well-defined. All right, let's talk about grabs. You know how much I love a good tweaked grab. So it's a big G. That's kind of semantics for us on how we score them. A grab is a grab is a grab. To us, if you're doing a back tuck or a back lay with some kind of a grab, and you do another back flip with a different grab, it's going to be ruled as the same jump code. And yet again, we're going back to your first one, not your best one, will be scored. So please pay attention to what you guys are doing there. And it should be an identifiable grab. We don't want to, sorry, yet again, we've been training for hundreds of years, cumulatively. We know when you swing and you miss. We know when you're going for it and you just like brush by it, and we can see it when you do it. So obviously we want to see you guys do your best on that one. And yet again, from the judge's perspective, we need to be able to see it. Attempted grab, blah, blah, blah. We're going to go off of that one. If you swing and a miss, we have a mandatory score that we have to stay below. If you look like you touched, that type of thing. If there is anything that you're doing that's something brand new and crazy and something like that, and your coach is concerned that the judges aren't going to quite know what to do with it, obviously your coaches are intelligent enough to come to the judges and say, hey, this is my athlete. He's trying something brand new. This is what we're looking at. Maybe this hand position isn't a grab. But what we do like to see is a very distinctive, athletic, and purposeful motion when you are in the air. I know we've all done it before. Rolling down the windows, cat out of the window, everything. You guys know what a good jump looks like. So we just want to make sure that we judge things accordingly. All right, here we go on this one. Excellent category for grabs. You're gonna hold it. You're gonna tweak it. I mean, even parents, you guys can see when somebody grabs that ski and whoop, and they're just holding it up in the air, and it's beautiful. Wonderful. They're in the excellent category. They're in the 9s. We love to see that one. Good. All right, so our good category. We see a grab, kind of there. Not held, not cheeked, but you got it. That's great. So we have that one in the good category. Now let's talk about oops daisies. All right, average. Oh, we kind of touched it. It went through. Obviously, we have very specific regulations on where we can put that. And then unfortunately, sometimes it really is a swing and a miss. It happens to everyone, but unfortunately, we know that you were going for a grab. You didn't get anywhere close to it. We have to put it in the poor category. That's where your errors are going to score. So moving on, let's just go through. And like I said, with all of the grabs that are sitting on there, safety, Japan, your tail, you're a truck driver, and you can call it whatever you want. But according to us, the judges, it is one category, it is a grab. And if you're doing the same rotation, either inverted or twisting and inverted or upright, and it's a grab is a grab, multiple grabs, if you do the same trick with a different position of the grab, we're still going to consider it just a grab. So make sure you guys are avoiding doing the same trick over and over. All right, let's talk about deep landings. You guys know what happens. You go a little too big, you land on your heels, you get a good back slap, we've got something going on. So deep landings, actually, according to our rule book, with a hard deep landing, your air score is going to be a 5.0 or lower. We're talking about hand drags, butt drags, punch front, anything like that. So the unfortunate thing about errors is that it actually can affect your turn scores. So we never like to double dip into deviations and that type of thing. But if you're coming up off of an air and you go flying sideways and you wind up in the wrong lane, you're going to get dinged on your air score and you're going to get dinged on your turn score for a deviation. You come off of your air and you crash, it's going to come off your air score. And unfortunately, as soon as your skis hit the ground, the turns judges have you again. So if you crash off of your air, you're going to get dinged for your air score and you're going to get dinged on your turn score. Super important. Yeah, obviously, amplitude. We want to see you guys go big. We don't want to see you guys go too big. We've all seen the video of World Cup, went in trouble, tuck for double. We just went too huge. Last year at Junior Nationals, we also had an intermountain competitor who was coming in way too hot rather than getting off the course, not hitting the air. Went way too big, wound up with an injury. When we talk about amplitude, we want to talk about intelligent safety of your amplitude. The chop is there for a reason. If for some reason you're a beast and you're out jumping the chop, you're either like scary and out of control, or you're amazing and you should be on the World Cup. So the chop is there for a reason. It is to soften your guys' landings. Something else I will say for when you are in the chop, it has previously been discussed that you can stop on the chop, take a pause, ski through the chop, and then start skiing when the moguls come back up again. Actually, we're at the point where you're landing, you should be in control. And we know I'm a female myself. I'm not the biggest jumper in the world, nor was I even when I was a competitor. But I make it halfway through the chop. I don't get that pause to stop through the chop. If I straight line, that's a deduction. Once you land, you should be back into your turns and back in and skiing. What else? Cross speed positions at 90 degrees. So we've got that one. We've gone over it. So yeah, airs, honestly, some of the most fun things for the spectators to watch. But you guys make sure that you guys are strong in your airs, you're staying tight, you're well dialed in, and you're going to ski the second that your feet touch the ground right there. All right, axis. This one gets interesting. All right. Kids going flippy, flippy. We love it. We love it. Back in my day, we weren't allowed. So this is exciting. We only had to do inverted aerials in order to get to flip. I love the progression of the sport and where it's going. So let's talk about axis. So your axis is actually, it's based on where your torso is. It's your shoulders and your hips. It's not actually where your feet and your skis are in the air or where your hands are in the air. We're looking at your core body for your axis. And this goes into quality, how well the jump was performed. So maximum point value, the maneuver has to be within range. And so, of course, us being the way that we are, we came up with these lovely pie charts to tell you where your axis should be when you're jumping. All right. Axis says, oh, we just talked about it, body and torso, legs and feet don't come into play. And we are talking about the body and torso at the apex of the jump. We are not talking about halfway through. If at the apex, you can make it up. So for points and scoring, so airs are on 10 points. For your maximum point, you want to be in the green zone. Obviously, the yellow, you get a good. The red zone, you get a poor. But what's yellow, red, and green? Let's look at it. Okay, so this is for an upright aerial or a non-twisting inverted jump. So we are looking at spread, daffy, twister, zootnik, if you know what that is. We're looking at back tuck. We're looking at back lay. So these are things that should be right on the plane. We give you from 11:30 to 12:30 in the air. If it is an upright jump, you should be upright. So yet again, your red zone is your poor, your yellow zone is your good. Moving on to inverted twisting jumps. So we are now talking about like back folds, back double folds, that type of thing. So you are literally putting your feet over your head, but you're spinning. And so we give you a little bit more leniency when you're upside down in the air. We give you 11-1. That's the green zone. What we don't want to see is a back full that's coming off at, 2, 3 o'clock, something like that. If you're doing that maneuver, you should be up and over the air on your feet. And then my favies, off-axis jumps. So these are your cork sevens or D-spins, or choose what you like to call them. We have our own hieroglyphics and notables for what we call them, but we actually give you a very large boundary for your axis. So whether you're talking about flat threes, which aren't done very well or very appropriately a lot outside of the park, but if you're talking about cork sevens, cork tens, if you're talking about your Lincoln loops, loop grabs, any of these type of things, we do give you a big span of where you should be. But basically, if we're saying you should be off axis, you shouldn't be vertical. If you do a cork seven and your feet are directly over your head, over your hips, over your shoulders, we might just assume that it might be a backflip or some such. When you are doing your off-axis jumps, we want to see you somewhere in the realm of that. But like I said, we do on access jumps, we give you guys a lot of leeway for where those jumps are going. All right. Well, recap, full control. Big deal. Big deal. You got to land it. I mean, you can huck anything you want in the air, but if the ground rushes up and hits you in the face, obviously not going to score very well, right? We want you guys to have full control on your landing. We want you guys to be right back on the balls of your feet, and we want you to start skiing immediately. That is our ideal of full control. Yeah. And we're looking for no change of direction and that type of thing. So basically control. We want to see you boom, land your air, get onto it, finish skiing. Life is good. Scoring well. All right. So we got a little bit of video here. Let's talk about some airs. I believe we're starting with the ladies, if I'm correct. Oh, sorry, no, we're not. All right, so back full. Can you pause, please? So on that back full, when we were talking about inverted twisting jumps, so this athlete actually managed wonderfully to keep it between that 11 and 12. We're also looking to make sure that they are getting their body ahead of their skis. In judging terms, we call it spiral segmentation. It makes us sound really awesome when we all say it together. But basically, it just means that the top half of your body is moving faster than the bottom half of your body. We want to see everything. In this case, this athlete did it well. Let's go ahead and see his second jump. Oh, sorry, let's look at it again. All right, so you can see he's a little bit of a banana position, but he is still in that 11 to 1. So he's eligible. Go ahead. He's eligible for that excellent category. Unfortunately, bent knees and some other problems would keep him out of it. All right. And then going through the bottom, obviously we have very good access on that jump. Moving on to our next skier. All right, we have one of our ladies. Everybody's favorite, the spread. Can you pause, please? All right, so in the air, we have a good spread position. We have decent amplitude. The problem with that one is a little bit of drift and a little bit of landing issues. But in the air, looking pretty good. That's what we're looking for. We're going to let her keep, we're going to watch it again. Yeah, arms out, toes out, just a little problem with landing. We would probably put that in the good category, not quite in the excellent. We're going to let her go through the ski. And as you've noted from the earlier ends with the moguls, you guys know what she's doing. Coming into the bottom air. And we have a Daffy. All right. So at our lower levels, our Devo, our QS, that type of thing, we are going to see a lot of these upright singles and a lot of them. And at Devo, we're going to see a lot of spreads. But that's the way you improve, and that's the way you get better. I actually really enjoyed that Daffy. You saw the bottom of her ski, you got the splay, there was athleticism, she was upright in the air, probably could have had slight more amplitude, but overall, a good jump as far as a Daffy. All right, coming into our next video, please. All right, so let's back that one up and see what we have going on for 1 second. Oh, stand by. My technical director. is my son. So everybody give a shout out to Major. Thank him for helping me out. All right, coming in. So when you have a jump like this, all right, we obviously have a backflip. We have a position in it. And then this is when we come into our questionable grab thing. So yet again, here in Rocky Freestyle, we don't have the ability to go back and watch everything over and over again. So that would be one of those things that was the position and or grab of that well presented, even with our binoculars sitting at the bottom. So we want to see very distinctive positions, that type of thing. Let's watch this guy keep skiing. So coming in hot to the second air, skiing well. All right, so now we have a back cross, which is back with position. When we were talking about that 90-degree angle, you guys can all say, yeah, looks like he got a good angle. As a flipping position right there, that should be straight over. Was he within 1130 and 1230? Absolutely. Amplitude, height of the jump, great. Good jump, good score. All right, let's move on to our next one. All right, we have one of our ladies coming in. All right, 360. Let's go ahead and pause it right there. So what we're looking at with that 360 is, you guys may or may not have seen, she was very heavy on one foot coming off the jump. She was already starting to spin as she came off the jump, and that made her trajectory shoot her into the lane across. So not only is she going to get a deduction on her air score for drifting, but once her skis hit the ground, she's also getting a deduction for coming back into her lane for drifting over. Let's watch the rest of her run. So doing well, coming in hot to the bottom. Let's see what she's got for us. All right, so big spread. Obviously, this is a skier that takes off of 1 foot heavier than the other because we also have a drift again. If you notice, she did get a good big spread, but she was a little off-centric and not quite exactly in the middle where we're looking for. So all in all, a good jump, but definitely not in the excellent category. And just to be honest, a lot of the ladies and the younger skiers that are out there that are just learning, I do know judges who have given multiple 10.0s on spreads. So a really good spread can be an asset in your repertoire, especially as you're coming up and growing. And let's move on to our next skier. All right, so we have an off-axis jump. Can you go back? And is there any way you can pause it midair? Let's go. All right, so we are looking at the torso of our body. So we're looking at our shoulders to our hips. And obviously, in this off-axis jump, he is within the green zone. And we do have a good 90-degree cross coming out of this. Possibly, I don't think we quite hit the apex. I think his shoulders were a little bit lower at the apex for the pause. But this is what we're looking at as a really excellent jump. Go ahead. Let's see how we come out of it. Boom, right back into skiing. So that would definitely wind up in the excellent category for that jump. We're coming in hot to the bottom. All right, can we go back? And do the body position again really quick. Thank you. All right, so when we're talking about repeats, so we had a cork 7 up top, which we call a 7-OP, and we have a cork 7 grab at the bottom, which we clarify as a 7-OG. So when we're looking at the body position here, yet again, we are looking from the shoulders to the torso, and he is in our green zone. He obviously has a very distinctive grab, which is presented to the judges. Let's go ahead and play it. And coming out of it with that boom, right back into his skiing and his line. Good jumper right there. So 2 different cork 7s, top and bottom. One had a grab. The grab was presented well, tweaked. So this would be one of our good jumping scores. Excellent jumping scores. We have another video. All right. So back to the people that make this thing great. Let's talk to a couple more athletes before we get into duels.
My name is Annabelle Ayed. I am from Steamboat, and this is going to be my 8th season competing with Rocky Mountain Freestyle. I have done everything from Devos all the way up to RMDs, and after going to NORAMs, I always love coming home to the Rocky circuit because of how well run the comps are and how fun they are. Everybody, the judges, the parent volunteers, the board is so passionate about mogul skiing and making the comps the best that they can be. It's definitely no question that Rocky has the highest level of skiing, which for improving your skiing and keeping your motivation, there is really nothing better than skiing along people that are better than you. That is how you become a better skier. That's how I've become a better skier throughout my years. I think that the environment of Rocky is so good. It's competitive and everybody is such good friends. Rocky gives us so many resources to connect with each other, like all-stars. The athletes get to know each other better for a weekend, and I know that I've made some of my very best friends from Rocky, which I'm so grateful for. I am attending college this semester, and there's a reason that I'm going to be coming home to Rocky. I can't wait for the season, and I'm so grateful for everything that they've done for me.
All right, thank you, Annabelle. We've got another skier that wants to chit chat.
My name is Annabelle Ayed.
Hi, my name is Asher Michael. I'm on the Stifle US Freestyle team. I grew up in Winter Park, Colorado, skiing in the Rocky Mountain Division. And the Rocky Mountain Division is really just set up for athletes to excel through the All-Star Camp, where we get to have some really excellent coaching and talk to the judges about some stuff that they're looking for in our runs. The coaching is next level. You're not really going to find any better coaching in any of the other divisions. The other athletes are just pushing you to excel all the time. It's such a great competitive atmosphere, and I think it's really set me up well to enter into the World Cup scene. The friendships I've made throughout Rocky and some of the relationships with some of the mentors and coaches that I've gotten to experience has really just helped me become a better athlete, and set me up really well for the rest of my career. So go Rocky Mountain.
All right. Again, thank you to the athletes. We're getting in there on time, so let's talk about some dual moguls. All right. So, we in Rocky only have the 5-judge panel with the 6 judges ahead. And if your athletes are in RQS or Devo, we have a tendency to have a 3-judge panel. Once you get up to NORAMs, Europa Cup, World Cup, Olympics, there is a 7-judge panel, which means it's 7 judges and 8 as the head judge. But at this point, so yet again, we love our turns and we love our carving. So in 5 judges, what we have in Rocky, your first 2 judges are doing turns. You get 5 points for each for a total of 25 points. So 5 points for judge 1 turns, 5 points for judge 2 turns, points for air. You can get up to 5 points for speed, and then we do have an overall judge. So let's kind of break this down for you guys. As far as air, yeah. If you ever tried to watch multiple things at a circus at the same time, it takes a lot of ability, focus, and everything. If you're trying to watch two things at the same time and analyze it all at once, yes. So you are going to have different athletes doing different jumps off of the air, or like some of our Rocky athletes, they talk to each other at the top and they do the same airs, which is hilarious and wonderful and horrible at the same time. No, we love it. But we are watching two airs at the top at the same time. We are watching two airs at the bottom at the same time. Thankfully, not only do you have an air judge looking out for that, you also have your overall judge, your head judge, and also the timing judge, just in case they're coming together at the same time. So we're still looking at the same qualities for air. We're also vying in the factor of degree of difficulty. So if you have two competitors up top and then you have a spread versus a cork 7, obviously the degree of difficulty is significantly different. If you have two competitors doing two spreads at the top and two back tucks at the bottom, we're looking at the same degree of difficulty. It's much easier to analyze which one is which. But honestly, we have to take into account exactly what we would be doing in judging the airs, just looking at two of them at the same time. And variety, we love our variety. Okay. Degree of difficulty, you guys can read through this a little bit. Degree of difficulty for scoring. Obviously, if you have harder tricks, you're probably going to do better. Unless you have a cork 7 and the kid next to you has a spread and you crash and burn. Obviously, our spread's going to win. So it's very delicate, but we do have very specific judging things in place for these types of things for different tricks at different times, different jumps. All right, athlete performs jumps, good execution, low difficulty. This is kind of what I was talking about. This is actually our verbiage that's in the book. It's trained into us. So let's talk about repeats again. Competitor who repeats identically the same air. Oh, and really quick, I'm going to jump into a spread and a Cossack with your poles between your leg. We'll call it a Cossack, but that's not a true Cossack. Don't get me started. But anyway, so a competitor who identically matches the same jump or maneuver gets a deduction. Obviously, if we only have 5 points and you just got 2 points taken away, you can have the best top air, but you just repeated it. We're probably not going to do wonderful things with you. Same scoring category, same deal. It's 1 point. Speed. Okay. One of my favorite things to talk about in dual moguls. The fastest kid doesn't win. We're in Alpine. What happens on most often occasions when there is one skier who's being dominantly faster, which may or may not be the better carver, the better absorption extension, not the better turner, maybe not the best with the airs, but they get so far ahead of the other competitor who may be a better skier, a better carver, maybe better at airs, but the one who's behind gets frustrated, and guess what? Straight lines the bottom. If you guys remember my spiel from the beginning about straight lining, which as a coach, it was a huge thing for me. I always told my kids 3 turns after the finish line, make sure you never straight line. But we see it very often in Rocky freestyle that the person who is running a little bit slower than the person who is running a little bit faster actually has better turns, better carving, better absorption extension. And then after the bottom air gets frustrated and says, forget it, I'm just going to straight line. And then they actually wind up losing the turn scores. So for any of you athletes and parents out there, I cannot emphasize enough every single day, all day long, turn through the finish. Turn, 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 turn. That's what our sport is made of. We're not looking for you guys going fast. I won't even get into how we're trying to talk to FIS about making speed even less important and carving more important. But the deal of it is I have seen over, like, even last season in Rocky, I probably saw a dozen duels where the slower skier, if they would have kept pushing all the way through to finish, would have won the turn scores, and probably, even though they were the slower skier, would have won the duel. So that's our important thing in duels, is always turn, never give up. So let's see what else we have. Okay, so with our speed or time difference, if you know any of the judges, we have this memorized because you have 5 points to give. I can tell you this in my sleep, how many seconds. We have amazing timing, but as many Rocky parents know, sometimes it's a tie. And it really actually is a tips on the boots across the line time. So we have a way to deal with that. But the thing of it is 5 of your 25 points are going to come from speed. So literally, it's not the whole kit and caboodle. It is a small element to it. Ooh, did not finish. Okay, so we have a little bit of difference between US regional events and we do in FIS. Really quick, I don't believe I went over DNF in single moguls. So in single moguls in Rocky freestyle, if you kick off a shoe or you stop, you have 10 seconds, that type of thing. And when I say shoe, I mean your ski. Mine are basically the same. I was born with skis on. But if you kick off a ski and you get together, get it back, and you don't go outside the panels and everything like that, you can continue skiing. In duels, we are the same as FIS. You lose 1 ski, you lose 2 skis. Doesn't matter about your poles. Lose 1 ski, you lose 2 skis. Or you stop for more than 10 seconds. It's a DNF. That's a did not finish. Let's take a really fun example. So see 2 skiers are coming down and one blows off the course and goes around a panel, and the next guy crashes literally a second later and blows up and knocks all his equipment off, and now he's having a yard sale. The first person that did not finish will lose that event. So it's whoever makes it furthest, that type of thing. And the joy of duels. And by the way, you guys, I can't wait. It's finally in the Olympics on this next one. It's going to be amazing. But with duels, you need to make sure that you finish down, because somebody can crash up top and somebody can crash in the middle. And you just need to remember, as an athlete or a parent, like, let them know, just keep going. I have seen some of the most amazing things with like young Devo RQS kids that are going to move up, crush kids that have been on the NORAM circuit just because they kept going and they didn't crash. So that's what we love about duels. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. All right, so here's your DNF. This is your official rules to it. All I can say, when you're in duels, just keep skiing. And on a personal note, I was like the worst dual skier ever. Because I always got in my head about the person next to me, and then I'd go really fast, and I'd get in the back seat, and I'd blow out. You can ask some of my former competitors. They love dueling against me because I have a tendency to blow up. Don't be that scared. Don't be that scared. Just keep your head on. Keep going. We love it. Yeah. Head judge, like if there's a question about boots over the line or anything like that, head judge has binoculars. We're well trained, we're paying attention. Okay, so here we go, DNF. 2 boots, not your arms, not your ski tips, not one leg. Your 2 boots are going over the line, either on the center line or outside the gates and out. In case, like I was saying, same round, DNF is ranked lower, and then DNF for any reason, the person that DNFs first is the one that loses, even if the second person DNFs. And we've seen a lot of them, and in my days, I've seen kids collide and people go across lanes, and duels is so much fun. That's why I'm so excited that it's in the Olympics. It's going to be great. All right, ties and speed. So we had last year, even we had, I believe, 1 on the World Cup, a couple in NORAMs, and multiple in Rocky, and not because of our timing system. Literally, you kids are so competitive that you are coming across the line, toes of your boots, boom, across the line at the same time. So just so you guys know, looking at it, if there is a tie and speed, so we're looking at the 5-judge format for Rocky. So the 6 points that could be allotted to speed will actually be split up as 3 and 3. So a tie and speed, you know, I used to say that it was fairly uncommon. I saw like 5 of them last year. So not uncommon. Thankfully, we've got a good way to deal with it. All right. Who's ready to watch some duels? Okay, coming off the top, let's just look at turns, please. All right, so we have a little bit of an issue coming off the top here in the blue course. You've got the red course moving a little bit faster coming in. Blue course maybe a little bit more pivot slidey. Back floats, back cross, and back tuck coming across the finish line. That is not one of those cases where the slower skier had the possibility. This was fairly dominant on that one. You're watching the red line skier, they're pushing, driving their tips down. The blue skier is a little bit more pivot slide. You're seeing underneath his skis, you're also seeing the sides of his boots. So pretty sure you guys can pick a winner. All right, next one up. Moving in. All right. So we have a little bit of issues coming out of both, maybe more on the blue hand side. Turn wise, if you were actually to put a number on it, oh, and they're doing the same jump. Perfect example right there. So blue course comes across the line first. The reason blue course came across the line first is through the middle section, he got a little bit back seat and a little sloppy. So if you think about it in terms of how we would judge a singles run, which skier had the better turns? Which skier had less deductions? So obviously in that case, the winner across the line was not the winner probably for what was going on based on turns and air. So that's why we always say, push through the bottom. Moving on. All right, coming off the top. We're having some problems through the top section. It's obviously very steep. double or twister spread on both of them, dueling twister spreads. Oh, we're seeing, yeah, we're both having a little bit of issues. This would be very interesting. All right, and doing backflips at the bottom. Red Horse makes it through first, so obviously he's gonna get the speed points. You guys can kind of go back now that you have a little bit more of a base and analyze. Like, do you think that red skied better than blue? Did blue ski better than red? Who had more mistakes? Who had more stumbles coming off? So with us and judges, sometimes we do have a little bit of a differentiation, and you will see one turn judge goes 3-2 for blue, and one judge goes 2-3 the opposite way, holding for red. You guys have seen it. Sometimes they're just really close. Sometimes it's not. Especially if you're analyzing errors and you have the same kids doing the same tricks. Make sure it's very easy. Same kids doing different tricks, a little bit more difficult. But as you can imagine as judges, if it does come down and Rocky to that 13-12 score, we probably will take an extra moment and the head judge will reanalyze and reassess and ask each judge and make sure when it comes down to a really close event, we definitely want to make sure that we get it right. And we would rather take the extra couple minutes and take care of it and deal with it. Let's move on. We're getting close to time, guys. All right, coming in hot to the top there. All right, back tucks. Oh, here we go. This is a good one. Looking at the turns, looking at both the airs. Well. What did I just say about 13-12? So I believe we had this one in our judges clinic. We looked at it and we beat the dead horse extensively. And regardless of what we did, some went 3-2 blue, some went 2-3 with the red as the winner. We have very similar airs. We have very similar skiing styles. They probably crossed the line within maybe 0.2 of a second of each other. This is when it gets tough. And this is when I remind you, again, we're judges, we're human. And we do have different opinions on this type of thing. When it's really, really close, this is yes, when we're going to stop the comp, take a moment to pause. Head judge will make sure and look over everything, because more than anything, we want to make sure that we get it right. We want to make sure that we get it right for the athletes, for your parents, for the coaches, everybody. Let's see. I think we've got it. This is one more. Was that the last? Okay. We got so. Can you move me back to main screen? Okay. Cool. So, oh my gosh, I didn't even wind up talking for 2 entire hours with everything. Really quick, I just want to thank you guys for being a part of the freestyle family. I've had skis on my feet since, pretty much I was born. And I love what I do. I love where I am. I'm very grateful and blessed that I get to spend January at Rocky Freestyle. And then February I leave to go head judge for Europe Cup. But I promise you guys are in great hands. I just want to send out a huge shout out to all of the parents. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. So you guys are amazing. Keep supporting your athletes. I highly recommend learn as much as you can as a sport, but don't ever try and coach your kids. Because as a coach and as a mother with an athlete in the program, that was one thing I didn't want to do. But yeah, if anybody has, I think we have a couple minutes here. If
Elena, do you want me
anybody
to allow
has
people to
any,
come off on mute to ask questions?
yeah, absolutely. If you guys
Okay,
want to come
I'll
ask
do
some
that in a
questions.
second.
Anybody want to give me $1 million and a puppy for my cool presentation? I'm happy with that too. No. Anybody have anything to say? I'm happy to answer anything.
People should
you
be
guys
able to
need.
unmute themselves now.
Jim Hendry, are you really on this call? Okay.
Elena, can you hear me? It's Elena.
Oh yeah, hi Lena.
Hey, we just wanted to say thank you from Team Summit. This was awesome. Really appreciate everything you did to put this on for us. Thank you.
Thanks. And
Everyone say thank you.
I hope this helps. And one other thing as judges, I know if you have a problem and your kids need some issues with scoring, like talk to your coaches, they'll come talk to us. But honestly, we're very approachable and we're all freestyle skiers, right? So if you see me around, say hi, and if you have any questions, let me know. First and foremost, everybody can bomb Crispy and ask him everything all the time. Thanks, Anne. No, but seriously, like we're members of the sport. We absolutely love what we do. We're obviously not getting paid very well. Thank you, Rocky. We're getting paid a couple more bucks today. But we do this for love of sport. This is passion. This is not any of our main jobs. It's like the biggest hobby ever. Oh, somebody asked a question about DNF on singles outside of the gate. So really quick, if you are skiing singles, we have a little blowout somewhere and you go outside the gate. So as long as you're staying on the same plane as that panel, as that gate, you are more than welcome to come back in and you are okay. If you drop down below that gate, you are not allowed to hike up and come around it. If you drop past that gate, that is a DNF. So,
Anyone have any more questions for Helena? And again, thank you from everyone, and thank you from Rocky for doing this presentation. It's hopefully recorded, and if I don't mess things up too badly, we'll try and get it on the website. So I won't completely promise on my Zoom knowledge, but I think we should have it recorded and we'll get it posted.
Awesome. Thank you guys. And I really appreciate, oh my gosh. So Rocky, you guys are my heart. I love you to pieces. Yay, Winter Park, Summit, Team Steam, Vail, Telluride, Aspen. You guys are the best. You're my favorites, but I have to give a shout out. We did have some Sun Valley in here. We had Australia in the house. Looks like we got a couple of East Coasters. So we're just honest to goodness, we're one big freestyle family. And anywhere you go, if you're a mogul skier and you find another mogul skier, we will love you and take care of you all day long. So.
All right. If no one has any more questions, we'll end it. And thanks again to everyone for attending. And thanks to Lena.
Thanks, you guys. We're looking forward to an absolutely awesome season. Ski hard, stay healthy, stay mentally straight, and I can't wait to see you guys out there.
Thanks. Good night.
Well, good night, guys.